Ready. Thanks. Oh my gosh.
Thanks, Nate. All right, the time is now 7:41 PM and the executive session has been concluded. The participants in the executive session were myself, Mayor Pro Tem Barney, Trustee Broa, Trustee Birma, Trustee Wiegert, Trustee Harper, and Administrator Koshberger. For the record, if any person who participated in the executive session believes that any substantial discussion of any matters not included in the motion to go into the executive session, or that any improper action occurred during the executive session in violation of the open meetings law, I would ask that you state your concerns for the record. Seeing none, we'll now move on to our work session. Review of the 2022 nonprofit request applications.
All right, so tonight we'll discuss 5 nonprofit request applications and funding. I have put in the budget $20,000 for partners and $10,000 for discretionary fund. This can be adjusted based off decisions made tonight. And if you plan on funding all the requests, I will readjust the numbers and balance our budget, of course. So I ask that we go through each application and ask any questions that we might have. I know we have a couple of the applicants on this work session as well. I just wanted to remind everyone, if the entities are not funded, I have spoken with Judy Zimmerman at San Juan County Community Fund, and that's run by Citizen State Bank. And she said they have over $15,000 to give away and no applicants. So she was wondering how I got applicants. So we were kind of sharing ways of how to recruit that and give away money. So putting that one out there for our participants as well. Also, if time allows, I would also like policy direction on fee waiver requests and nonprofit status. But if that's not within the purview of the work session, we can schedule that another time. So first application is the Silverton Clinic. And I will pull up, I think I saw either Megan in or Paulette. Yeah, both are here. So I'm going to promote both to panelists. Okay, and this has been recommended first for funding by the Finance Committee that we met this morning and went over these applications. It was even brought up as having its own line item in next year's budget. I have Paulette and Megan on the line ready to answer any questions, and I'm trying to get Paulette to the panel.
Would it be possible to go through the Finance Committee's recommendations real quick?
Sure.
So that we have that framing before.
Absolutely.
One.
So the Finance Committee recommends Silverton Clinic. I actually put them first, their recommendations first. So they would recommend Silverton Clinic and Creative District. The Farmers Market, they were not able to review. So they said Silverton Clinic first, Creative District second. They also wanted more information on what the Center for Snow and Avalanche Studies was in relationship to CIAC. And I spoke with the executive director today, and I have more information on who they are compared to CIAC. And then, so they didn't have a recommendation on that one because they were unsure of the organization. Silverton Single Track Society, they were hesitant to grant more funds to the Single Track Society. And they did not get a chance to review the Farmers Market one. So they basically have 2 recommendations, and that is the Silverton Clinic and the Creative District.
Okay, thank you.
And I did not ask our applicants to prepare any kind of a presentation. I figured you guys have a lot of the information in front of you, and if you had any questions, they could be here for your questions.
And Gloria, we do have a little presentation. I don't.
Oh, bummer, Megan. It is really difficult to hear you, and it sounds like we have really bad internet today. Can you hear us okay?
I can hear you guys, and I'm gonna relocate to closer to my my router too. But I was just saying that we do have a presentation if the board wants it. It's only like 3 slides long though.
I'm good, everybody?
Yeah,
Let's
that's
do
great.
it.
Yeah.
And you can share your screen. You should be able to share your screen, Megan.
Okay, let me get myself a little more organized here. Okay, so yeah, you do have all of the information in front of you, but I was just going to give a little bit of background on the the medical loan fund that we're asking for the funds. So I'm sure that you guys are aware that the clinic is a free clinic. It's only open 1 day a week, and it is the only real public health facility in San Juan County. But in this year alone, like the patients have gone up. There's been a big increase in patients. And also the other big increase is that Lois is doing like way more lab draws than she ever has in this year. So like the clinic just is seeing more and more people. And then over the past few years, we have a general operating bank account, and it's grown through, donations and fundraisers. And actually we got a lot of donations through COVID funding. But the board is really asking for $10,000 to put towards the medical emergency loan fund. And we are a nonprofit free clinic, and we are a registered 501c3. And then just a little bit of background on the medical emergency loan fund. It was created to assist, low-income residents of Silverton to be able to afford medical care, and it is in collaboration with the Citizen State Bank. But it's obviously a great way for people who we can help pay their medical bills if they apply for this loan. And it's a no interest loan. And if it gets paid back, then, there's a borrower agreement that's written, and we can offer like a letter of financial good standing if they pay it back. And then again, like we make sure we write this agreement in Spanish and English just to accommodate all of our population. And then we just like really feel that this to like make a better adequate funding, especially during the middle of the pandemic, we would really like to be able to just offer that to somebody who might be in need. So right now we only have around, $4,500. And if we that's why we're asking for 10,000, because then we'll have more money in that bank account to say like, we could offer a loan to somebody because medical expenses aren't cheap. So that's all I wanted. I was just giving a little bit of background, and I hope that just helps to understand some of that stuff too.
Can I just clarify real quick with Megan? So you said in collaboration with the Citizen State Bank. So did you write a request for that yet? Or are they already a partner, or what's the status of that?
That's a good question. I actually am not 100% sure, because I know for sure that all of the money that's in our bank account, it just is through Citizen State Bank. And I know in that medical loan fund, it was all from donations. So I don't know if like Citizens would then kick in money, and maybe Paulette could answer that question better. I'm the treasurer on the board of directors, but I'm actually fairly new in my role. So.
Okay. Yeah, thanks. I didn't mean to put you on the spot there.
No, that's okay.
And Paulette is on the line. I'm trying to promote her to panelist.
Cool. I think that the clinic is one of the most important services in town. And I think it's amazing what the clinic does, despite not receiving the same type of financial support that our other emergency services in town receives. So I think this is a no-brainer. And I also am curious what else the town should be doing to support the clinic, whether there's other types of in-kind services or financial support that the clinic needs in order to be as robust as it needs to be to support the demand that exists today. It's like someone breaks their arm and our ambulance is ready to go, or something lights on fire and the fire department's ready to go, but like if someone's like really suffering from something and it's sustained, I'm not sure we have the support for that. So I'm curious, maybe as a different discussion, what else we should be doing to make sure that this service is robust. Jim?
Thank you. Today during our discussions, I should say this morning, during the discussion, it was around the idea that this becomes a line item in our annual budget in order to assist the clinic. I feel the same way. In fact, like I said, we brought it up this morning, and I feel that with the resources available that we can do something a little bit more. And I think we should do something a little bit more. I just don't know what that more looks like. So I'm glad we're having this discussion.
Awesome. Molly?
Every time I turn on my video, all you guys just disappear. So I'm gonna leave it off. This morning, it was disclosed to us that they're really not a 501c3, that they're a 501(c) or something like this. There was a different 501c3, 501c4. So that's what Tyler informed us of this morning. Is Paulette there to answer that question?
Paulette, if you just want to unmute, I think you can speak.
Hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
We can hear you.
Yes, we are a 501c3. We are not a 501c4. We are a 501c3. And
Well, that's what I thought, but Tyler had told us something different this morning. So I just wanted it to be clarified for the entire board, even though Tyler's not here. And we know that you had requested that Tyler or somebody from the ambulance service also come in and hopefully start helping, because you need assistance with personnel as well. Isn't that correct, Paulette?
we do. We need assistance with personnel. As everyone may know at this point, Lois wants to retire, and we need another staff member to replace Lois. And in order for that to be done, we need funding to pay a person coming in. But that needs to be discussed with our board at our next board meeting. And then, you know, the board is talking about what they can do to help. I can put that on the agenda for our next board meeting, and we can come up with something, present to you to see if you can help us with anything.
Well, thank you for clarifying, Paulette. I just wanted everybody to know what information that we were given this morning that the board did not hear, because this is our only healthcare, our actual only real healthcare in this community. And we need to embrace this and make sure it stays on a steady course forward.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Well, Paulette, I think that if you do add that to the next board agenda, you could anticipate that this board will be fairly receptive to the ideas that you guys come up with.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Great. Anything else from the trustees on this one for the clinic?
No, thanks for coming and presenting too.
Yeah, thanks, Megan. Thank you, Paulette.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Would you like us, Gloria, to give you kind of a decision? Well, we're not making decisions, right? We're providing direction.
Right.
On like as we go, or do we also need to?
I would suggest that we hear them all and then make the decision afterwards, if that is okay with you all.
Sounds great.
Thank you.
Great. All right, so the second application is the Creative District. This has been recommended second for funding by Finance Committee. We did just approve money to give them for this year's operation costs, and to clarify, this request is for next year. And I should note that they have also offered to take over Summer Sounds for 2022.
Oh,
This will be on our next board meeting on October 25th meeting as a contractual service. And this, those funds have already been budgeted and allocated towards Summer Sounds. So, and I'll see if we have someone, we have Lisa and Carol here to harness any questions. Promoting them to panelists now. We can pull it off. All right, Lisa and Carol, are you there?
Yes,
Excellent. Thanks for joining us.
thank you for having us.
So would you like to give a brief overview, or would you like us to just jump right into questions and discussion?
I could give you a little brief overview. The money that we're asking for next year, it is because I know that we just gave you a presentation, so I didn't want to be a little redundant this evening. But I didn't really go into that much depth about the creative industries application, and part of the application process is having a match of $10,000 of reserves in our bank account. But we're also thinking that, you know, for using this 10,000 as also general operating funds, we would like to keep 3 months reserve in our bank account. And we would like to budget for different projects, but at the moment, with our funding that we have currently, we're a little hesitant to start working on those kinds of things until we know we have the money to put towards them. And also the, you know, our mission, hold on, I'm sorry, it went full screen. So our mission, you know, is to support the growth and sustainability of the arts and culture in Silverton and San Juan County, and to provide economic prosperity for our artists and community. You know, the arts are an economic driver, and we believe that a stronger arts presence in Silverton will create a more diversified economy for our caldera. We've organized a number of successful projects, which is the Arts Map, the online events calendar. We're in the middle of organizing the Mistletoe Market. We've produced the Friday Art Walk. We've collaborated with many different regional partnerships. So, you know, what we're doing is we're trying to look to the future and to become an official creative district with the state. And we're also looking at planning the Silverton Arts Festival in June of next year.
Thank you very much.
I mean, this is so challenging. We have so many amazing organizations and people who step up in all kinds of avenues to support the community, from all different, health, arts, recreation. It's just incredible. We're so vibrant. This organization is really important, I think, to the community, and for all of the reasons that you've stated tonight, Carol, and in other meetings, and the letters of recommendation, I think, say it all. And I mean, yeah, if we can support you guys in any way, I think we should.
We would definitely appreciate that.
We all would. It's great. What you guys do is great work.
Oh, thank you.
So this one was recommended by the Finance Committee. Do Molly or Jim, would you like to kind of fill us in on that discussion as well?
I'll go first. I think it speaks for itself. I think Carol has done a wonderful job. This designation will help with any businesses and or anybody who really wants to be in the arts, and it will help perpetuate that. But we have to become a certified creative district, and Carol laid out the reasons why.
Thank you.
Can I just ask one other question? I'm just wondering, Carol, if you've had a chance to research or know, and I know Ridgeway has this designation, any other communities in the region, to what extent do municipalities support the creative districts in their budgets? I mean, do you have an idea of like the rate? I don't know if it's an amount or if it's a percentage or a ratio or something like that.
I don't know if it's a specific amount or a specific ratio, but it's clearly stated in the guidelines of the application that they really want to see municipalities
Yeah.
being supportive of the creative districts and working together. There's a lot of partnerships that happen with this, and that just views our application favorably. Like we couldn't, as an organization, just go and apply for creative district status with the state. We need to have government backing with this, and that would be town and as well as the county. And I went in front of the county, I think it was in June, and received, overwhelming support from the county commission. And then, working with the school, there's just lots of different entities that are helpful to bringing a creative district to Silverton.
Great, thank you.
Mhm.
Awesome. Any other trustee questions or comments? But I think this is awesome, and I would like to follow the recommendation of the Finance Committee. I think this is really cool. And great for the whole community.
Well, thank you.
All right, well, awesome. Thank you, Carol, and thank you, Lisa, for joining us. It doesn't seem like we have any other questions for you.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, and so the next application we have is for the farmer's market. Kim did turn this in on time, but I wasn't able to get it to the Finance Committee on time, so there's no recommendation from the committee. And let's see if Kim is here, and Kim is not here yet, so.
Are we expecting Kim?
She didn't get back to me today, so I don't think so.
Okay. Well, Finance Committee members, Molly and Jim, would you like to kind of walk us through how you reviewed the other ones and kind of lead this discussion for us?
I'm just familiarizing myself with a new ask from the farmer's market. This
Some soothing water noises.
is it me, or is there a budget missing?
Double checking.
There's the bank statement, which I know is not the same.
No, it's not the same. We based it on what their budgeting was and how each one of them put it into their packet, how it was going to be utilized. The letters of support. I mean, we can all get the letters. I mean, the letters of support are great, but we can all get them. And it's not contractual. Kim's come in front of the board every year, and basically she's asking for $3,250, but I'm still.
The budget's just in the table. It's just so basic. She's just asking to cover the cost of the laborers.
There was the actual budget attached. I looked at the original form, so what you guys have is.
But on that first page, the two numbers that she has for the cost equals 30.
Yeah, but that's not really, that's not a budget. That's, and I love Kimmy and I love the farmer's market, but we've always kind of granted them because she collects from the vendors in order to help pay for this. So this is just a little disjointed to me. It's not as good as I would have expected from Kim. Yeah, Jim, if you'd like to go through anything, I'm still trying to finish reading because it's a handwritten letter.
No, it's well, it is handwritten. It's well written. To answer your question, your initial question of how we kind of went through the process, there were a stack of these sitting in the middle of the table, and we picked one by one and read through them, looking at the validity of each one, seeing if each of the packets met the criteria that were required, and really how we picked the 1 through 3, 1 through 5, determined on necessity. To me, the clinic is number one. It serves the town, it serves the county, it's here for all of us. They do not have the same amount of resources, so it was my suggestion that we make it a line item, so that it is perpetual, and that possibly the clinic can go to the county and ask for the same amount, if not more, and have that perpetual as well. To me, that was a no-brainer. The rest of the submittals we went through and again looked at them on a case-by-case basis, and what do they do for the community? How do they give back? And it was very it was that simple.
Thank you. So given the observation by Molly that this is not really a complete application, is this something that we could ask Kim to prepare a budget for and then resubmit?
Yes, I could do that.
Would that sound like the most appropriate?
Yeah,
thing?
I would prefer that because I know Kim and we all do, and this just seemed like it was hastily thrown together and not quite meeting the packet criteria needs.
Yeah, I agree. It's, but I think she does make a really good case for the farmer's market, and I think the idea of its contributions in the summer to the local community are significant, and she has not asked for money yet from the town. She's asked for, the space and the special permit. Yeah, go ahead, Jim.
Oh, thank you. I'm in a total agreement with you. I'd like to somehow, obviously we're not approving things at this time, but I would like to tentatively include this because the farmer's market is special. It is a part of the community. It does do so much. And I don't want to see this get left behind or neglected in any way. I want the farmer's market to be able to have the same opportunities as everyone else, and to allow Kimmy to have adequate time to submit that budget that everyone's looking for.
Yeah, great.
I agree. I don't want the farmer's market to go away in any way, but we did set a criteria, and this is just not quite a full, complete packet, which is part of what the criteria requires.
Okay. Any objections?
No, great.
Okay, great.
Let's keep it in the queue. And
Supportive of the farmer's market. Need a little more info.
Got it.
Looks good.
All right, next up, we have Silverton Single Track Society. And I think I have Clem on the line still to harness any questions. And Clem, I am promoting you to panelist. All right.
Welcome. Would you like to provide a quick summary of this request for us to discuss?
Sure. I guess we'll start with, I feel like I've told you guys the story of Silverton Single Track Society in Baker's Park a number of times, but what's new at this point is that we had the IMBUS Trail Solutions guys here, and they flagged what's going to be phase 1 of Baker's Park. So that is now completed. And BLM is working on getting us the clearance that we need to go out there and do the actual work. So if all goes well, we'll be ready to break ground on that in the spring. And we are now working on raising the money for the whole thing, which is 1.5 million, applying for various grants, and hoping that you guys will chip in for a piece of it.
Thank you. So the finance committee, it sounded like had a little hesitancy on this one. Do you guys want to provide some color there?
The contributions so far from the town of Silverton have been $25,000. And San Juan County is only at 11. And so it looks like you need to go after some larger grants. That's why we wrote you the letter just recently, so that you can start getting that, so you can find some different partners. And that was why, because we have just written the letter of recommendation, so you guys can go out and find other sources. And the town has already ponied up quite a bit, and I think it's a great project for the future. But $1.5 million coming out of the town of Silverton, approximately 10,000 at a time, is going to take forever to get any project sort of completion. So we were supporting otherwise with the letter to help the Single Track Society find more ways and creatively fund.
Okay.
Thank you. Before Jim, anything to add there?
No, not at all. Molly's, can you guys hear me? Am I okay? Looks like
We can hear you. Just the video is refreshing.
You're rebooting. Okay, fine. No, Molly summed it up very well. My only hesitation with this was seeing exactly what Molly saw, that the town of Silverton has contributed X, the county of San Juan has contributed Y, and we just wanted to know definitely from you, Clem, where do we sit? Are we contributing? Are they going to contribute as much? How is that looking in the future?
Sure. Good question. I don't know that I necessarily want to get into the middle of a town versus county battle. But those guys did give us the $10,000 or $11,000 to get this whole thing started. And the next thing that we're going to do this budget season is go ask them for more money as well. And you'll see that in the budget that I submitted. So yeah, we're going to be asking them for more money as well. I do want to point out that in the big scheme of things, this is a $1.5 million asset that the town will have in perpetuity. which will require very little maintenance and will be generating a lot of revenue for the town for years to come. So in the big scheme of things, I don't know that this is necessarily a lot of money that we're asking for, but yeah.
That is an awesome clarification. Thank you so much. And for the record, I think this is a kick-ass project and I'm excited and I want to see it come to fruition. And
Thank
whatever we can do to keep it going, I'm all on board. I just, and I think I can speak for Molly on this one, definitely wanted to have this face-to-face and have this conversation. So thank you.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Quick question. In the budget, it shows that the ask that you plan to make from San Juan County is 30,000. How's what's your over under on that one? How do you feel like that's going to land?
I mean, you know, we're going to ask for 30. If we get it, great. If they give us 20, that'd be awesome too. And we'll take 10. I don't know. Well,
Clem, careful, they could be watching.
they probably are. I know.
You're putting all your cards on the table.
Well, so one of the reasons I was asking is there seems to be interest in town and county having some, match amount or proportionate balance. And so if you were to get 30 from the county, you'd be at 41 from the county and 25 from the town.
35 from the town.
After this.
If we do another 10. Right, but we haven't approved that 10 yet, right? Am I wrong?
We have not approved it.
I thought we committed to 25 and we have another 10 that we're being asked today for.
Yeah.
Yes, we've already given them 25.
Correct.
And they're asking for another 10. So I said, let's see what the county ponies up first. Because if this is going to be an asset, it's not an asset for the town of Silverton. It's an asset for San Juan County. It's in the county, it's in the BLM land. So everybody would have its fair share.
Good point. I know that what the county guys are going to say when I go talk to them is that you guys get more sales tax than they do. So I don't know.
So I would be interested in actually coming at it just a little bit differently, which is what if we kind of gave direction that we would conditionally approve this if the county agrees to their ask. So that we're saying we're ready to go, but we want the county to be ready to go too. So we'd be at 35 and maybe they just match us at the 35 level and you decrease the county ask 25. So we all end up the same, or 24, or whatever would get us both to 35. I don't know, just thinking about rather than saying we'll wait and follow, maybe just say like, hey, we feel pretty good about this, but let's make sure everybody's on board. Just a thought.
I have a question, Clem. Are there matching funds or kind of in reference to sort of how Carol was structuring the creative district asked around municipal support for the project? And do you have anything in the works right now that relies on these funds?
In general, we just need as much as we can get in terms of matching funds that are just cash that we can put towards all this stuff. It's a little bit of just like we're matching all kinds of things with other things.
Right.
We have the GoFundMe going that I think at this point broke 30,000. We've got some private donations on top of that from people that didn't want to put it through GoFundMe. So it's beyond that as well.
Okay.
Cool. Anything else from trustees?
I think this project has a lot of momentum and I'd like to see us keep that going. So, if it's just, if it's $10,000 we're asked here, and if we can get the county to match that up, that's awesome, and we can move forward with that. So I'm definitely in favor of helping this project keep rolling.
Haha, Nice use of words, Jess. Ditto.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Okay, cool. Yeah, thank you, Clem.
Thank you, guys.
Okay. All right, and then our final application, I was asked by the Finance Committee to clarify what they do and how they are different from CIAC. I spoke with the Executive Director, Jeff, today, who is not able to attend this meeting due to another meeting conflict at the same time. But he said I might be able to text him a pertinent question because he's only supposed to be speaking for 20 minutes during this conflict meeting that he's at. But basically, the Center for Snow and Avalanche Studies is a nonprofit in the town that provides CIAC with their data, and folks focus more on like watershed and disasters rather than just avalanches. They're research oriented for snow science and monitor snowpack with stations, including the one at Red Mountain, and they also manage the Dust on Snow program.
This is started by Chris Landry.
And maybe you all have more background on them too, but I just wanted to answer those questions for the Finance Committee.
Sally, do you have insight on that?
Well, I just know that it's it's a highly reputable organization and is in high regard in the academic snow community. And it has been a part of Silverton for many, many years.
It's not a big request.
It's very
I
little.
personally just needed to better understand the organization.
Yes, science and research.
Have we provided funding to them before?
No.
Application, it says no.
Not in my tenure.
Okay.
But yet the Avalanche School has asked before. And so that's why we wanted clarification about what all the different acronyms are, because there's so many that float around and how they all work together and how they all tie together. And nobody had an answer for it.
I see this organization as being one that just adds to the research community that can, especially, our winter research community, which is a part of our season, that's often really quiet. And I think that this organization is one of those that's just been kind of plugging away for a lot of years now and doing really important good work and putting Silverton on this academic map.
Yeah, I would also note that from the recommendation letters, it seems like they also provide some very important information around water security and quality. And that's definitely one of our most serious issues.
Yeah, it can also provide us with good information.
Nobody was discounting the letters or anything in the packet. It was just a clarification because there's so many different entities, and the uncertainty of what this one was all that needed to be clarified, because the Finance Committee had this one on the record as well.
Yeah, I didn't mean to sound argumentative.
Yeah, I don't think any of us are calling that into question. I think we were just providing our opinion on why it's important, in addition to what you guys said.
Yeah, we're all on the same page.
All right. Sounds awesome. Any
Great.
other questions or comments on this one? I like to think of myself as fiscally conservative, but we're definitely in the yes mood.
That's my next question.
What Sally said, we just have some really amazing organizations doing and individuals doing really awesome stuff. And it's hard to limit any of the support for those things because they're also important and awesome.
Well, we don't have to grant everybody all the full funding. So in-kind donations is what we have always looked for some of the others, for facility uses and rentals and so on like that, or not paying rent to be in a space. So that doesn't mean every single one of these should get the full ask. It doesn't mean that we don't support them all if we have to take a little from one to give to another.
So for clarification, in the kind of the framing of this, we budgeted 20,000 for partners and 10,000 in the discretionary fund. Are any of these considered partners?
Not at this time, no.
So,
And that is why I sent that additional memo to you all outlining that there are current partners that we have in there. Up for consideration, of course.
so in total, the request from these nonprofits is 3,500 or 35,000
It's almost
or
to
so.
40.
45,640.
10, 20,
Wait.
30.
I did my math. 10, 20, 30, 35, 36, 5, 37, 38, 39, 5, 39, 750.
Where'd you get another 6 from, Jordan?
I had the 30,000 plus 1,500 plus the 3,250 plus I added ski join in there. Did you?
Oh, we didn't have ski join yet.
Right.
Oh,
5,000.
so without ski drawing, it's around
Ski
40.
Joring is a partner organization. They already have a contract.
Okay, so we're at like 39,000 in requests and we had 10,000 budgeted. So this, I guess, is where we look back to you, Gloria, and you tell us what to do
All right.
a little bit.
So this was a great opportunity to get, your questions answered. And so it didn't take up an entire meeting for you guys to go through this. And so from here, what we can do is I'll do my follow-up to Kim to resubmit, and then kind of look over and see where, if we were to fund the whole thing, where the other money might come out of, to show you all kind of 3 different options maybe going forward. I don't know if I can prepare that by this Monday's meeting, but I would be able to prepare that for the next November 8th meeting to make a decision by. So giving you guys kind of those 3 different options on if we were to fund in full, if we were only to fund partial, or if we were to only fund a certain amount, and then you would all have to decide who would get that amount.
Yeah, and I would say, just me personally, if you think that the recommendation is that we need to say, this is all our budget can withstand, like is $18,000, I don't think this board is afraid of tough decisions. But if you tell us like, hey, I think we could do it, we're probably going to say yes. So if you really think the smarter thing is to cap this at a certain amount based on your expectations of where we're going and where we've been, then please tell us.
Okay.
Cool.
Right now, I'm kind of working with the budget based off of our finance meeting on anticipating a small amount of revenue loss. But also looking at areas where we increase the revenue. That was one of our focus today at the meeting. So kind of let me look at that and hopefully put this on the November 8th meeting where we can make a decision on the funding and have kind of a comprehensive memo for you all and some options.
Cool.
Yeah, great.
And then I'd also be curious how your recommendation on this would be prioritized relative to discretionary spending internally. Because I know that we have a lot of wish list items internally as well. And I want to make sure that we all are thinking of all of the moving parts before we commit funds.
So in regards to that was kind of looking for policy direction on fee waiver requests. I had some staff run some numbers, and they were able to do 2019 as kind of a comparable to this year. And they estimated that we gave away about $27,000 worth of fee waivers.
In 2019?
In 2019, yeah. And so kind of thinking about that as we go forward and in our philanthropic, yes.
We gotcha.
Thank you.
Mhm.
If I'm gonna try and say it, I won't get it.
I've heard it both ways.
So trying to think about that as moving forward and what we do give away as the town and or give back to the community, I should say. And kind of looking for policies around that. So maybe we capture a little bit more money there and we give up front. I'm kind of thinking about that balance.
And so what did, I know that we didn't have very many events because of COVID, but what did we end up with in 2021 so far in terms of fee waivers?
And that's what I asked them.
Oh, that's-
None, and they were only able to give me the 2019 so far, but I hope to have that information to you all soon too.
And 2020 was just pretty much nothing.
Yeah, and 2020 was not really a comparable or a model year for us to look at.
Do we want to, as an idea, would we want to track the same way we would track funds coming in? Would we want to track? So for example, in 2019, we waived 27,000. In 2020, we waived 0. So that could be accruing towards a total amount. Like we could be tracking the amount not waived 1 year to the next, and it could be treated like a fund just in reverse.
And that was my understanding when Lisa Brano was working on this. She was starting to track that, and that's where we were able to get the 2019 numbers so easily. But I think it kind of fell by the wayside this year. So, but it's something that I would like to really discuss with you all as far as just having a policy around it, I think would be really helpful for staff. Because we're constantly asked for fee waivers and we're always questioning where, you know, what the process is. If there's a staff way we can deal with it without having to bring it to the board, if the board would always like to deal with those fee waiver requests and kind of figuring out like a limit or a cap to those.
And I think communicating the frame, oh, sorry, it looks like Molly was going to say something, just to say it really fast, creating a framework for the community to understand if we were to have a stricter policy towards fee waivers, but at the same time, look at what we are investing in a really big way to create more sustainable organizations that give back to the community. So if we look at those things sort of in tandem, I think that communicating that to the community would benefit us when it comes to these fee waiver discussions.
Absolutely. Yeah, more clarification and maybe an SOP or policy around it would really, really help, I think, staff and the community and you all.
So initially this was spearheaded by Tiffany Decay when she was a trustee, because she always used to ask to quantify each of the in-kind donations that each of the organizations in the community ask for when they are done, and so on and so forth. So we actually put together a chart for the fees committee when we were on the Parks and Fees Committee. Not sure exactly what we're calling everything nowadays, with all of the new mergings. So that was already put together. So was the structure of the way Kendall Mountain was rented and the way Molus Lake was rented. So it already all exists, but we never got any further to create the actual operating procedure before the new board sat. So that was something that was already underway that we were trying to look at, because I think administratively, 95% of this could be handled unless it's over a certain dollar amount. And that's what we were working towards.
Right.
Totally.
And we actually found example fee waiver policies in other communities that we were looking at kind of, but wanted to ask you guys for direction first before we went down that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good rabbit hole. Well, awesome. Is there more direction or that you'd like to seek?
So As far as policy direction, if we could have direction to draft a policy on fee waiver requests and bring that all to the trustees for your consideration, and then we can talk through any issues in that policy or how the caps, but staff would like to get together and try and hammer out a policy.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah,
Okay.
great.
Any other trustee thoughts on that one? Cool.
Okay. So my marching orders, just to recap real quick, are for November 8th, bringing you all some options for funding these requests. And then as well as bringing you a draft policy, probably by November 8th. I think we can get that one going, considering we've already kind of started the research.
Mhm.
Awesome.
Yep, sounds good.
Great. That is all I have for you all tonight. Thank you all for your time.
Very cool, everybody. Any other comments or feedback before we sign off? Well, sweet. I will adjourn this work session now. The time is 8:37 p.m. and I look forward to seeing all of your smiling faces on October 25th.
Thanks.
Thank you, guys. Gloria, thanks for a great meeting this morning.
Thanks, Jim.
And I hope Tyler gets to Denver okay, safe and sound.
Me too. I haven't heard from him.
Yeah,
He doesn't check in with you, Jim?
everyone else does.
Oh my gosh.
Come on now. Night, guys.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.